Welcome to Pardon the Interruption. I'm Luke Brown, Donovan Cranage, and Brody Torres to my right, and today we are talking NFL, specifically fantasy football. Who do you take number one overall? The pressure's on you, the clock's winding down. Who you taking number one overall? And I'm going to start with you, Donovan, in who's the best player to take this year?
I think the easy answer is Christian McCaffrey. He's the most elusive player in the NFL. He has great rushing upside, and he's just a great runner overall. He's running behind a fantastic offensive line, 1,100 all-purpose or rushing yards, not even including his receiving work last year.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey, obviously a great guess for that one because he really got a chance to prove himself down the stretch in the postseason. He had 238 yards in the postseason, 1,139 yards overall on the season. Brody, I'm going to turn to you. Are you thinking wide receiver for this one?
I am. I can agree with you that Christian McCaffrey is the best fantasy running back, possibly even just the best running back in the league. But as far as fantasy goes, I'm not going running back with the first overall pick. And for me, I'm just going with the best overall offensive player in the league, which is Justin Jefferson. He's the best offensive player and the best wide receiver. And wide receiver in this day and age of fantasy is the way to go. Racking in, and if you're in a PPR league, racking in receptions, which Justin Jefferson did with 124 last year, is crucial. And wide receivers are just so much better than running backs in today's day and age of fantasy.
Well, they're obviously very close. They each tallied 8 touchdowns last season. But for me, I'm going with a guy who plays in one of those jerseys, Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler had more carries than McCaffrey at running back, but he had 5 more touchdowns less carries. He had 40 less carries, tallied less yards, but had 5 more touchdowns. And if we know anything about fantasy football, we know that touchdowns equal more points. And that's the objective. I want to win my fantasy league. I'm going with Austin Eckler. But I have a question for you guys, aside from the number one overall pick. The first round, and you have a spot, are you going to take a rookie out of Texas, Bijan Robinson, who got drafted to the Atlanta Falcons? Donovan, yes or no?
I'm not a big fan of Bijan Robinson in fantasy, especially in the first round. I don't think the running back talent is there that much overall, and he could be a viable option, but he's a rookie behind a bad offensive line in a system that we don't know how many touches he's going to get to start with. You have Tyler Algier, and you have Cordero Patterson in the backfield.
Donovan's not taking Bijan Robinson in the first round. Brody, do you agree?
I totally agree with you, Donovan. You just had Tyler Algier, who got 1,000 yards rushing, and you put Bijan in a pretty bad offense. They have a solid offensive line, but not an overall well-rounded offense who's scoring a lot of touchdowns. Also, I really don't like taking a chance on a rookie, especially this early in the first round. Maybe if he drops to the third or the fourth, I'd be more willing. But just taking a rookie in the first round, no matter who it is kind of risky. I love Bijan Robinson as a prospect, but in the first round, definitely not for me.
I remember when Saquon Barkley was coming out of Penn State, and the question was, is Saquon Barkley a first-round fantasy draft pick? And I said no as well, because you look at a rookie, and you need somebody who you know has experience in the situation. You look at Bijan Robinson. In the Big 12, he had 18 touchdowns last season, but is that going to translate to NFL offenses? Is that where the hesitation lies for you guys?
Yeah, I'm just not sure he's going to carry out immediately. I could see him turning out in the later season, but it's going to take some time for him to get used to the NFL.
Yeah, I think it'll take a little bit of time to be a quality starter. I think as soon as he gets in the league, he'll be splitting a lot of touches, and I just don't think it'll work out right away. Not worth that first-round investment whatsoever.
Yeah, so you go down the line, you look at maybe the second round. What fantasy football player do you think is going to have the biggest breakout under the wire season this year?
Where are you first?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson. Getting new quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but is definitely an upgrade for Zach Wilson, whoever is out there on the Jets field last year. And he's an explosive receiver in which in today's day and age, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill is very, very important.
Donovan, to close us out, who you taking under the wire this year?
I think I'm going to go with a tight end, Dallas Goedert, flying under the radar because the tight end talent is not there. You have Kelsey, who is always producing, and you have Kittle. But besides that, you can include Mark Andrews. There's not much tight end talent out there. I think Dallas Goedert could be a huge steal in the later rounds.
Well, to close us out on Pardon the Interruption, I'm Luke with Donovan and Brody here, presented by Quick Lane Auto Services. Thank you for tuning in.